The STEM Society.
What's going on, people? My name is Cole Jackson, and this is the STEM Society. Welcome back. This is episode 119. We're live. I'm about to dig into this Drake and Bobbi Althoff interview because there were some things that's letting me know that Drake is pushing himself away from hip-hop media. He's pushing himself away from just hip-hop in general. He's been criticized this past week for a lot of different things. The interview, the Iceman stream that he just dropped. There's some things here that are sticking out. And this week's episode, I'm actually wanted to give my opinion about a few of those things. So let's start off with the interview. Drake sat down for the second time with Bobbi Althoff, and this was, dare I say it, a fluff piece. This was some of the worst interviewing I've seen in a very long time, and I'm just giving you my real opinion about it. Bobbi Althoff is not my favorite person to sit down and watch, but I had to watch this because I wanted to see what Drake had to say. I wanted to see if there were some questions there that he was going to really answer. A lot of the topics on here was their friendship and what's going on in Drake's life with his painted nails and his midlife crisis braids. And then we get into 2 points that I think were very important and 2 things that I feel like he covered, but he covered it with the wrong person. He talked about being a culture vulture, and then he talked about his thoughts on hip hop media. Both of those are very important things when it comes to what's about to happen in this next few months when it comes to him releasing an album or when it comes to him trying to sell us things on Amazon. Like, he's really getting into the shits when it comes to some of the things that he said. Some fans took this interview as funny and Drake being relaxed and him being himself. Doing this with Bobbi was something that was probably easy work for him. I was on the other side of that coin. I personally looked at this as something that was very fake, very curated. It just felt like he was dodging real questions, something that he can't do if he sat down with hip-hop media. I wasn't fucking with the bullshit throughout this whole thing, man, and it was a lot of fake things going on. This interview wasn't for me. It just wasn't the type of interview I wanted to hear, and I'm not going to dog pile on Bobbi Althoff. I understand that she has a presence and she has a place here, but it's funny to me that Drake would sit down with somebody who has no recollection of him. Like, she's like, I don't know anything about you. Even though she sat down with YG and she sat down with Sukihana and she sat down with Offset. So she's getting the rappers. She's getting the rappers on her show, but she doesn't know about the biggest one out of everybody. When I hear stuff like that, that just means that you're going to sell me a lot of lies and you're going to give me a lot of fluff and a lot of bullshit. And I wasn't here for it, but I wanted to really see where this was going to go and get a better understanding of why Drake would do something like this instead of doing hip hop media instead. One of the biggest things that stood out the most for me was the culture vulture claims. Now, I do have the clip where he talks about being a culture vulture. It's a little long, but it's a setup for what I'm going to get into.
Even in music, people will be like, you're a culture vulture, or like like people will describe the collaborative efforts that I've put forth and the artists that I've picked up and lifted up or shine a light on as me taking, they'll put a negative spin on it and try and tell me, that it's a self-serving thing or whatever. And I think I get really sensitive about that.
So let's sit here and be adults and be honest with each other for a second. Even if Drake doesn't feel like he's a culture vulture, he's left a whole trail of mistrust throughout the years when it came to music and his career. You don't believe me? Let's go back all the way to 2015 to 2017 when he was a part of the grime scene in the UK. He sat up here and cozied up to people like Skepta. He was cozied up to the Section Boys. He even did a song with Giggs. And after all of those things went down, he started taking the London lingo, mansnum, tings. That is London slang. Take it for somebody who's been here for a year. That is London slang. And what happened was it was framed as like Drake put eyes on grime, which is that's crazy. It's like Drake presented grime to the US. That's fucking insane. He didn't discover grime. Grime was something that has been here for a while. It is its own thing. It is a derivative from UK rap. But with him using the lingo, with him doing songs with Skepta and all of those guys, which I know the UK was very thankful and grateful for that, but you know, a lot of people didn't take it the same way. There was a UK artist by the name of Wiley who actually went on BBC One Extra and actually voiced his opinion about what Drake did and didn't like it.
Your issue with Drake, is it the same as your issue with Ed?
Drake is a pagan. You know, bruv, listen to this. I tried to apologize to this brother, you know, because I felt bad. But you know what? I ain't taking back no apology. He is the worst. Jay Huss come out of jail. Did he come out of jail? Jay Huss, yeah?
Yeah, same day.
Yeah, my man brought him out the stage, right?
Yeah, it looked sick. Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
Exactly. It looked nang, innit?
But what's wrong with that?
But you just said it looked nang. You just agreed with me.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Look, man them who are not from the hood, they come to places, try and get involved with man from the hood. You know what it is, A-Dot? The truth is, he's just a pagan and he knows it. And if I say it, he can't say nothing to me. And that's the truth.
Do you see no positive to what Drake does when he embraces the scene?
No, because you know why? He's not embracing the scene. He's doing it for himself. But you lot can't see. A-Dot, listen. If you're a good you and you grew up in the suburbs and all of a sudden you become a rapper, do you know what you do? You gravitate to where you never came from. That's why. So
you think it's for perception for him?
Oh, mate, come on. It's a true story.
Even if he does something like, say, Top Boy or bringing out Jay Huss at a show, do you not see that paying off for someone like Dave, though?
A lot of people looked at him getting into the grime scene and talking about grime as him using these people as Drake affiliates. Now, is that Drake's fault? Is that the media's fault? I don't know. What I do know is Drake did do the Wildest Festival here recently, and he brought out a whole lot of UK acts, and he showed a lot of love. But I don't think he's really been showing the UK love like that for a very long time. I just feel like he came in, he took the grime scene, used it for what he needed to use it for, and went about his business. Again, that's another reason why we consider him a culture vulture. Now, if you're from the UK, what do you think? How did you feel when Drake was everywhere in grime and then he left? How did that make you feel? Do you still trust Drake? Does he still give you the kind of music that you're looking for? Just a question. Let's move on to another instance, the Wizkid and Afrobeat situation. One Dance was one of the biggest songs in 2016, and it was framed as Drake brings the Afrobeats to the US. Go look up the articles. This was the first Afrobeats track that hit 1 billion streams. Now, the criticism behind this was Wizkid's album Sounds from the Other Side never got the same type of cosign from Drake. I didn't hear Drake pushing any other Afrobeats artists like that. It felt like he just picked it up, used it for getting another #1, and went on about his business. Wizkid is still successful to this day, and he's doing the numbers he was supposed to. But man, did it feel like he was using the Afrobeats to help push that album and help push One Dance and get him that #1 so he get one more step closer to Michael Jackson. And again, maybe that's not a culture vulture situation, but damn, I wouldn't trust him after that anymore. Now, some people may look at the whole situation as, well, it was riding the wave at the time. It was easy for him to be able to do that because it was a sound that nobody else had ever heard. And if that's the case, why didn't you co-sign Wizkid's album when it dropped? Because I see no articles or no media talking about how he was backing Wizkid up when he dropped that album. Let's jump into something that's a little bit more current. Drake and his obsession with hip-hop memorabilia. Now, the biggest thing for me, or this is a takeaway that I've seen, and this is my breakdown. Drake bought Pharrell's jewelry. He dissed him on Meltdown. He told Kendrick to come get his legacy out of my house when he was dissing Kendrick Lamar on Family Matters. Now, to some of y'all might think it's just a bar or whatever the case may be. But who beefs with Pharrell, bruh? Who sits up here and makes fun of somebody's legacy or boils Pharrell's legacy down to jewelry? That's some fuck shit. That was some fucked up shit. And he's sitting up here flexing ownership over somebody's legacy. Y'all don't see a problem with that? Y'all don't think there's something wrong with somebody going that route? And that leads me to something even bigger. If you're so confident in culture and legacy, why won't you sit with hip hop media? If you love it so much and you're not a vulture and you're not taking away from it, if you're the person who's saying, I'm giving these people opportunity, Why won't you sit with hip hop media? And a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't matter where he sits. People are going to have questions. People are going to be mad because he's not answering the questions that we want. I understand that point of view, but I also understand if you could sit down and make Bobbi Althoff, because let's be honest, you made Bobbi Althoff, you can make one of these smaller hip hop media personalities and bring their platform up. Talk to people who care is what I'm saying. You sit up here and you're using hip hop as one of those stepping stones, just like one of those influencers. And I'll be real with you. Hip hop made you, bruh. Hip hop is the reason you're where you are today. And you might not want to admit it, but it's the truth. Which brings me to one of my least favorite parts of this interview, where he dogs out hip hop media.
I really do feel like, and people are asked like, oh, why are you here doing this again? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the point? Like, even on the way up here, like, my boy was like, why are you doing this again? And I was like, well, what we did, like, it changed a lot of things for a lot of people. It was me essentially, like, just recognizing somebody that I never met in my life, that I fully believed in, that I thought was really interesting and I wanted to have an interesting conversation with. It pissed off like so many, like all these fucking losers, these like, you know, like story journalists and like this guy and that guy who like feels so entitled to this interview about, and Drake never does anything for like this type of media. And it just like made people so angry that two people who actually like have just like maybe nothing to talk about, mm-hmm. or everything to talk about, but just based on like random energy could come together. I think it changed a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Like the goal is not to be like some unattainable dickhead for your whole life, you know, and only to like sit with Zane Lowe while he like asks you like the most like curated and formal questions. No disrespect to him, you know, like, yeah. But it's just like, I think we did something that was special.
First of all, why Zane Lowe got to catch a straight, bro? I love Zane Lowe, one of my favorite interviewers. Hope to meet him one day. But when you say loser story journalist, I personally feel like he's talking about Elliott Wilson. And that's mighty funny, seeing that you have 6 interviews with Elliott Wilson. Let's see, there's the Crown Sit Down, there's Respect Magazine, there's the Sirius XM one, and then the biggest one and probably one of the best and most looked at interviews that you have, the 2019 Rap Radar podcast interview where you had 2+ hours at your mansion. That was B. Dot and that was Elliott Wilson. And wow, one thing about that interview that was so great was you were charismatic, you were caring, and you answered a lot of questions. You answered questions about your kid. You answered questions about the beef. You talked about different rollouts. You talked about everything. And now we can't get that kind of energy from you in 2025. Why? What's the problem? What did hip hop media do to you so bad that you can't sit down and answer questions post Kendrick Lamar beef? That's a big thing. We as hip hop fans want to hear you answer real questions, not sit up here and listen to you talk about painting your nails or sitting up here talking about how you have midlife crisis braids or how you spend a whole week with Bobbi Althoff and y'all are giving out real I had sex with you energy. If you didn't notice that, you did. You're coming off as somebody who is very entitled and don't respect the hip hop community that helped raise you. We watched you grow up. I've been watching your career from the very beginning, bruh. Hip hop is what put you in these mansions. I'm just going to be real with you. A lot of us respected the rapping Drake, and it's in you. I can go back to Scary Hours and tell you that you can rap. You're one of the best when it comes down to it. You rapping over Conductor Williams and Alchemist beats. It's in you still, but you don't want to deal with us because of what? Because we called you a name? Because you lost a battle? None of this is making sense to me. And for anybody who's a competitor like yourself, because you've mixed it up with quite a few people in hip hop, you still don't want to give us an opportunity to really understand the story and to really understand what the reason is behind the music that you're putting out right now. Again, a lot of people saying it ain't hitting. I only listened to one song from this past stream, but why aren't you giving us the opportunity to find out why you're in this place in hip hop right now, as far as like the music? You're lost. And I'm not saying you're lost as like you lost the battle, but you're lost as far as like finding your sound again. Nobody wants to tell you that, but it's the truth. I don't think you're dismissing hip hop media because of these storied loser journalists. I just think you want to dodge the hard questions. I think you want to stay away from us asking you how you really feel and you giving a real answer. And you want to go with this curated bullshit that nobody wants to fuck with, bruh. No matter how Drake feels about hip hop media, culture vulture claims, or whatever the case may be, we're the genre that built you. We're the people who built you up out of who you used to be. You were a Degrassi actor, and then you came over to this side, and you were founded on hip-hop. Lil Wayne was your mentor. You can't get more hip-hop than that. You know what I'm saying? Houston accepted you. Atlanta accepted you. A lot of these hip-hop cities accepted you, brought you in. Whether you hate hip-hop media or not, we built you. We built you into who you are right now, a global sensation. You can talk shit about Elliott Wilson, Rob Markman, whoever you want to talk bad about, but at the end of the day, it wasn't always hate. It was criticism, heavy criticism about the music that you could put out and the music that you had been giving us. And now you can't even be criticized. You're too big to be criticized from people who helped made you. I think we're at a point now where all of these artists and these rappers are just too tied up with their personas to be able to understand that your music, if it's garbage, we got to call it out. Not because we hate you as the person, but you not doing what we was fucking with when you first dropped. The slaps ain't slapping no more. And after this last live stream, they're kind of right. It's not a situation where we're doing this to get personal with you. That back and forth with Kendrick and the L that you took, hey man, most people wouldn't have made it as far as you made it. But at the end of the day, come back to the place that built us. Come back to hip hop as a community. We're the people who actually fuck with you. Because eventually, the Bobbi Althoffs and all of these other people in the world who you think are fucking with you, they're going to turn their back on you. And eventually, you're going to have to come back to hip hop. And you're going to have to come back to sit down with niggas like me or Elliott Wilson or B-Dot. Hell, even Joe Budden. You're going to have to sit down with people you might not want to fuck with, because right now, you're barely keeping your head above water when it comes to your new music. People are not fucking with that shit. And if you're reading what's on the timeline, they're lying to you. Come back to hip hop media. Come back and answer the hard questions. Come back and give us the stories that we're looking for. And I'm not talking about your kids or your personal life. We want to know how you feel about the music. We want to know if you're still fucking with hip hop like that. We just want to know more about where you're taking this. Because whether you want to believe it or not, the ball is in your hands, bruh. As much people talk shit about you, they still depend on you. The game hasn't sustained as much as it used to now that you're not popping, if that makes sense. Like, with you not being the guy, shit ain't moving like it used to be. So that's all I got for this week. Let me know what you guys think. Does Drake need to come back to hip hop media and actually give us real interviews? Do you feel like Drake should go ahead and just do what he's been doing and sit down with these fluff pieces like Aiden Ross or Bobbi Althoff? There's a conversation to be had in the comments, and it's down below. That's all I got for you guys this week. I will catch you on Wednesday. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you like what I do. And just tell me what you're feeling. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me for another episode. And I'll catch you next week. Peace out.
You know what they is, man. Fuck all y'all pussies, man. For real, man. I see y'all boys outside when I see y'all, man. For real, man. On some real shit outside, some body shit, man. I'm gonna see y'all boys when I see y'all, man. For real, you know I got hope. For real talk.
I don't know if you should have done all that.
Yeah.
I'm taking this.
Like, he say the most ridiculous shit, but But it sounds so cold when he just rapping.